Which non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? A friend of mine worked at Great Wolf Lodge when he was younger and told me all the lifeguards were constantly hooking up, and he meant all of them, from the 17-year-olds to the 30-somethings. I work at Great Wolf and can confirm, straight up, I think most of them had a fetish for lifeguarding. Not directly for it, but the importance that came with, the responsibility, and the outfits. I wish I was exaggerating. Having worked for a different major water park, I will piggyback that. The park guests also treated us like sex symbols. I forgot to mention that last part. On the final day of training, they tell you not to accept room keys or invitations to rooms. That did not stop most of my coworkers. Olympic athletes. This almost feels like cheating because of how accurate it is. I remember when the Olympics were in Vancouver, Whistler in 2010, the plumbing in the Whistler hotel the athletes were staying at was destroyed by condoms. Use the trash, you animals! I agree, this does feel like cheating. It's the worst kept industry secret that the Olympics is an absolute orgy, to the point the Olympics themselves supply tens of thousands of condoms to the athletes. I don't see how this is even a secret. One could guess what happens if you put thousands of the world's most athletic and competitive young people in one spot for 2 weeks. Renfest employees. There are legit orgies at the Maryland Renfest after hours. 1000%, it's everywhere. Worked at one for 8 years. I was a local, not an overnight camper, so I didn't get the full experience. I was a face painter, however, so I heard all the gossip every morning about who slept with who, and even witnessed some confrontations. Most of the artisans and actors end up doing the same circuit, so there is already months or even years behind the drama. Oh shit, knife-throwing guy is cheating on hammered dulcimer dude with the pickle wench? Plot twist. Not surprising, as every video I've seen from a Renfest is either a half-naked, conventionally attractive man juggling swords, or a very overtly lesbian or bi woman pouring beer down a girl's throat while calling her a good girl and holding their hands above their head. Ah, so it's not showing you the balding, overweight fat dudes in knight's armor on those videos? Strange, huh? Even though that's a majority of the employees. That or bar maidens. A tiny pause. I still have a challenge from last month for 100 subscribers. Please help me complete it. It really helps me grow, and the content will be even better. And you can also like the video. Yes, I'm being a little cheeky. Back in the 80s and 90s, I would say swing shift casino workers in Las Vegas. We would get off work between 2 and 4 a.m., dealers and cocktail servers then hit the closest bar. We got our tips daily back then, so everyone had a pocket full of cash and hours to kill. Never saw so many different drugs in my life. By mid-90s, everyone had kids and IRS problems, so it all stopped. Maybe not the freakiest, but I'm gonna say restaurants in general. Basically, everyone is sleeping with one another, often with multiple partners and all the drama that comes with. It's the schedule mixed with all the alcohol and drug use mixed with the relative youth of the staff. You're young, horny, and drunk, and you work late nights and weekends while your friends are out partying, so you party even later with the people you work with, or you go out on random industry nights with them. Cruise line workers. Because of the implication? What's she gonna say? No, she wouldn't. So they are in danger. No, nobody is in danger. If she says no, then that's it. But she won't say no because of the implication. Had a friend that was a cruise line worker for years, and she confirmed this for me. She said that not only are the cruise ship people all sleeping with each other, but in the off chance they get off the ship when docked, they're sleeping with the locals too. Medical workers. Long hours, high stress, dark humor. They've seen everything, so not much shocks them. Back when I was into swinging, I connected with a doctor who was constantly inviting me to the hospital to do it in an on-call room, like an episode of Grey's Anatomy or something. He did other weird things I wasn't into and lost touch. Anyways, a few months later, he was arrested for murdering his wife. I'm surprised no one said flight attendants. Yeah, had mate who was a flight attendant on international flights. The hotels they stayed at sounded like orgies, and the amount of different attendants he had in the Mile High Club was astonishing. The Mile High Delta Platinum Club is when you do it on the flight deck. Nurses are seemingly the horniest women on the planet. I went on a first date with a nurse, and it was a fucking roller coaster. She went from weird and sober to erratic and drunk to sobbing over nothing, and then finally having her way with me in the back of my car like we were teenagers. That entire paragraph was a roller coaster in itself. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm wondering where y'all in the comments finding these nympho nurses at. I want to know where they're getting the energy to have all their sexcapades because I am tired. Me and my spouse are too, and nursing has arguably actually killed my sex drive. Naked old people and finger painting and all that good stuff. Stress due to staffing. Cheers.
As a male teacher with mostly female coworkers, I can confidently say, teachers, don't let the presumed innocence fool you. Could it be that you're just very attractive? From my experience, it's not that linear. Attractiveness plays a role, but I think being good with kids and being smart are more important here. Charisma works. I had a 50-something-year-old teacher in high school who was not that attractive, but the dude was getting hit on left and right. Then there was the 25-year-old nerd teacher that was definitely not conventionally attractive, and all the girls and teachers were drooling over him. Riz just comes in different forms. HR seems to fuck over so many good people, and they do it with a smile on their face. What's funny is the job I worked at for 2 years went through 6 HR ladies because they kept fucking employees. We got fucked on and off the job. This feels like the most accurate answer. Horniest place I've ever worked is in public transportation. Bus drivers are some horny fuckers. Not sure if it's the stress or being cooped up in a box all day, but I've never seen so much going around. Bus drivers make sense though. They deal with some fucked up shit all day, on the bus and on the road, and in order to keep their CDL, they can't be dependent on illegal substances or alcohol. Sex is a great way to get a dopamine boost to alleviate the stress of the day. I know one bus driver who got fired for jerking off during his break. In the same region, bus drivers were talking about one line which apparently had a lot of beautiful women. So beautiful apparently, even people who didn't take this line went there just to look at them. Yes, this is absolutely gross. It's definitely not software engineers. I haven't seen anything freaky from us, from teens through university, and now well into a career. Man, this field is boring as fuck. Startups in 2010s were pretty wild though. Lots of drinking, drugs, partying, hookups, and infidelities. But you're right, not anymore. Circus performers, Cirque du Soleil specifically. Yep, I've known a ton of freaky nurses, service industry folks, etc., but they've got nothing on circus folks. I bartended for Cirque du Soleil's traveling show for 2 stops way back when. Needed a damn flowchart to remember who slept with who was currently sleeping with who was sleeping with multiple people, who was sleeping with who but had a significant other who didn't know, who slept with who but thought no one knew, etc. When I started, the strongman was sleeping with one of the aerialists. The next week, he was sleeping with the traveling VIP tent manager. Week 4, well, his wife joined the traveling crew, so I presume he was sleeping with her, but she might not have been the only one. Side note, served Eddie Vedder drinks in the VIP tent. He was very, very nice and polite, but didn't tip. In the Philippines, call center workers. Even the huge troll of a lady was getting some action from the thirsty single males. She just hangs out with them during cigarette breaks and drop hints. Sooner or later, someone too stressed out with the night shifts and toxic calls would approach her and off they'd go to the sleeping quarters. I worked on a US call center and somehow a lot of my coworkers were fucking each other, and not just a few oddball married couples that both worked there. It didn't help that we were a combination facility with ops, customer service, and fulfillment all crammed into one building in a small mountain town. I've been WHF call center, contact center for so long now, pre-COVID, I forgot about on-site center. I, US-based, was working for a telecom with 600 people, and we kept the local Applebee's and TGI Fridays in business. Constant rotation of people, the night drinking after work, spending all day listening to people bitch. I actually enjoyed that, and I was the no guy. If someone wanted a customer to not get what they want, they were sent to me as I followed the rules and was survey exempt. But I would run a cost-benefit analysis on each request. So much parking lot sex, bathroom sex, restaurant booth handies, but also so many of the girls were ghetto and not attractive, but I think I slept with most of the cute single girls in the 4 years I was there. Plus being on the training team helped, but I don't think HR would have liked it. Side note, I cannot sleep with my Filipino coworkers since, well, flights and stuff. 5 are single, young, and cute, and I know that if something comes up when I go on site next year for 2 weeks, that if something comes up, I'm gone. I knew a chick who did Brazilian waxes, and guys would come in and literally bust during the waxing. Real gooners. Confirmed, my friend stopped taking male clients completely because of it. My wife and I are in the lifestyle, but most would call us swingers. You'd be surprised how many goddamn doctors there are in this community. We know a handful of couples where both are doctors or it's a doctor-lawyer couple. I was at a hotel takeover recently, a crowd of us chatting while the host gets eaten out nearby, and the woman I'm chatting with, full fishnets with tits exposed, turned out to be like the lead brain surgeon at some hospital somewhere. The woman getting eaten out was also a lawyer now that I'm thinking about it again. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give me your precious likes, I really appreciate them. Subscribe and write which non-sex profession has the freakiest employees for your opinion in comments. Talk to you soon.